Hello boys and girls, before I strangulate myself with my shirt apparently. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tarrabyte. Or Tara, you can call me that too. Tara-sama, depending on where we're at, as I slink back into my chair. So, you're here because you're wondering what a furry is. I'm one of the few channels on YouTube that's not gonna give you crap. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, what I should say. I am the YouTuber, one of many, that is going to tell you straightforward, the very, I guess you could say, things that you need to know about what it is, whatever I'm talking about. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to be like, this is wrong or this is right. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of these people that is going to tell you straightforward the answer you want to hear, but you also need to hear. I'm not going to lie to you about what has gone on. I'm not going to say that is false or that is true. I'm going to tell you the facts, and I'm just going to report it as it is, and I'm going to give my take on it, of course, as well. I just realized my microphone was not in its proper location, so let's fix that. So, why are furries back in the news? Why are my people back in the news? Well, apparently, Michigan School District denies rumors litter boxes are in bathrooms for students who identify as furries. Everybody lately wants to identify as something. A guy, a girl, a furry, a table. I don't friggin' know, dude. Just apparently, there was an incident where people were putting them in there. Okay, for starters, let me explain something. Even if you're a furry, if you identify as a furry, if you identify as a dog, you'd probably shit outside before you shit in a litter box. Cats would shit in a litter box. Are you stupid? I'm a real-life furry, and my lifestyle is no dirty cat litter box joke. Let me see. Tables not being lowered for furries. RRISD respond to candidates' Twitter claims. Litter box for students who identify as furries, not so, says such school officials. If there was a litter box in a bathroom at some high school or whatever, it was more than likely a prank. Some guy thought it was, oh, I'm gonna put litter boxes in there. These people think they're furries. Let's make fun of them. Why? Guys, furries have been around since the 80s. Get over it. In this video, what we're gonna talk about today is, what is a furry? How do you differentiate someone who likes furries, who is a furry, and someone that's into real hardcore fucked up illegal stuff? And how can you differentiate someone who just likes it for what it is? And I'm going to try my best to go into this as much as I can. Might take an hour, might take not. Who knows? It depends on my editing skills and how much I need to answer these questions. So I'm going to read you off this Wikipedia article, and man, I'm looking at my camera, like, I can see it, but you guys can't, even if I pulled it off to the screen. It is very bright on me, like, that is how white I am. It says, man, okay, you know what, I'm going to look something up. Oh, interesting. Okay, that definitely helps. Thank God. If you don't have this, just type in, like, dark mode for Wikipedia, and it comes right up. But let's start reading this. I'm glad I found this. This is not killing my face anymore. So, this is some very old stuff that I'm going to be reading off just so people know. The furry fandom is a subculture interested in anthropomorphic animals, animal characters with human personalities and characteristics. Citations 1, 2, and 3. The term furry fandom is also used to refer to the community of people who gather on the internet and at furry conventions or otherwise participate in the subculture. Individual members of the fandom are known as furries. Although the fandom has no exact starting point, it's generally agreed to have begun during the 1980s in America and has continuously grown since the 1990s. The fandom is decentralized and isn't based around a simple media franchise or person. Furry writing and art are widespread among the community and typically features fantasy cartoons and with anthropomorphic animals. Other aspects of the fandom include crafts, role-playing, conventions, and online communities. It says the exact origin of the furry fandom is unclear. More intellectual furries would claim that the central theme of the fandom has existed for thousands, although the arrival fandom is modern occurrence. Some possible origins include media such as Kimba the White Lion, Richard Adams' novel Watership and its 1978 film adaptation, as well as Disney's Robin Hood as off-cited examples. Some fans have argued that they can trace its roots back to the 1910s or the 1920s. It's also thought to have its roots in the underground comics movement of the 1970s, a genre of comic books that depicted explicit content. What does it say? Page needed. In 1976, a pair of cartoonists created the Amateur Press Association, or the APA, I guess, Voody, which was dedicated to animal-focused art. Many of its featured works contained adult themes, such as Omaha, the Cat Dancer, which contained explicit sex, and that's nothing compared to E61 now. And then page needed, unreliable source, question mark. Voody grew a small following over the next several years, and its contributors began meeting at science fiction and comic conventions. According to the documentary, the furry fandom has its roots to anime and sci-fi conventions during the same decade. In February 2014, the term, never heard of this one, it's called Palafor, was coined to describe pre-1980 furries, seeing as palafors, like paleontologists, paleofurs. I'll get it right in a minute. Aren't furries in the modern sense, but do exhibit the tendencies of newer furries. According to Fred Pattern, the concept of furry originated at a science fiction convention, a sci-fi convention, in 1980 when a character drawn from Steve Galacy's okay, I'm not even gonna albedo okay, I tried. Started a discussion of anthropomorphic characters in a science fiction novel. This led to the formation of discussion group that met at a sci-fi convention and comic conventions. We're going to go ahead and skip everything up to 2010 because it's just whatever. During this 2010s, during this decade, serious studies of the fandom started to be published, and it began receiving more mainstream attention, which much of the coverage represented the community in a negative light, as well as misinterpreting the majority of the community. 2011 was when the furry convention first appeared in Scotland and Denmark. The same year was when the first furry event for Finland took place. The first furry convention for Italy in 2012, for the Philippines 2014, China, Taiwan, Singapore, and Malaysia 2015, for Thailand 2016. 2020. In 2020, the Rolling Stones in New York reported the fandom has become more family-friendly, although the sexual elements are still present. Okay, well, obviously, anything you need to know about it, I would say just go ahead and continue reading on, because I'm not going to read every last thing of this Wikipedia, because it would take probably about 20-30 minutes, and I've already taken up about 10 minutes just answering what is a furry, the literal first question that is on here. I thought maybe that some of this was important to know, where the roots were, and so on and so forth. As much as people want to claim different stories, there's always going to be a different story. I call it the pie theory, basically. 3.14, there's always more that's going to be out there no matter what. Pie is never ending. Therefore, there's always going to be a new reason for somebody to be a furry. Why are you a furry? Some people will tell you they're a furry because their friends are furry. Some people will say because they like anthropomorphic creatures. Some people will say Balto or Robin Hood, Zootopia. Something created them, something made them into a furry. Something that they have a reason for. When I was at Dragon Con last year, I asked a group of people, what makes you a furry? You know, why are you a furry? They each gave their individual answers, and then I said, do you think you're one of the reasons is because of social anxiety? When you put on your suit, nobody can see your face. A lot of people agreed. Deadmau5, ironically not a furry, actually did state that he said one of the key elements of being up on stage, if you have a stage fright, if you have a very hard time being up on stage at all, you know, cover your face, put a mask on, put a head on, do something, and cover your face. There are many reasons as to why somebody could be a furry, and there's really no exact reason, but I'm going to answer some more questions on this, and some of them are a little messed up, and I'm sorry that they are. Down below, there should be a playlist of where the questions start. So if you don't want to hear the answer to a question or hear any type of thing to it, by all means, please skip it when it comes to that one. The next question is it safe for kids? Yes, for the most part. It's not black and white. I'm going to be honest. It's definitely not black and white. It's not like, is it safe or is it not safe? It's more like, it depends, because who doesn't have one of these things now? I've got a cell phone. You've got a cell phone. Everybody has a cell phone at this point, and it really gets to this point to where anybody can go anywhere on the internet. If your kid has a phone that can access the internet, guess what? They can go online. They can start typing in furry porn, and it'll come up with E61, Rule 34, 4chan, Reddit. It'll come up with different places to find porn. There's always a furry thread. It's usually either gay or straight or both. Just straight up on 4chan, like non-stop. And there's really nothing you can do about it. But is it safe for kids? Just pay attention to where your kids go. As simple as it always has been, just like Nickelodeon, Disney used to say, ask your parents before going online. It's as simple as that. I think Danny asked this question from Game Grumps the best. Here's what he asks.
Do you actually believe you're a dog, or do you just like dogs so much that you're like, I'm a dog?
It's not a black or white answer, because frankly, when you want an answer to something like this that's so overly complex at this point, we've gotten to this point to where we really don't know how to answer it, because so many people will tell you that, you know, what makes them, you know, a furry, what makes them want to be something like that. They've been a furry, you know, for years, but they don't really think about it. You know, to me personally, my personal answer to this, and if you want to use this, by all means, I love it. I love the community. I love the people that draw the art, that dress up in fursuits, who have the talent. I love everything about it, from, you know, the positive stuff, obviously. The stuff that when you listen to people talk about it, they have the best, the most fun, everything. Because, frankly, being a furry isn't black or white. It's not gray, blue, or green. It's not an easy question to answer. It's like pi 3.14158, and it just continues on. And the hardest thing to really try to figure out with all of it is whether or not you're being a furry for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. And yes, there are wrong reasons, and I'll cover them later. So the question is, what makes you a furry? Why do you want to be a furry, or why are you a furry? And realistically, that comes down to what got you into being a furry in the first place, and has that evolved over time? And that does get a little harder. And sometimes you have to rethink it and think it and think it, and whether or not it's the correct answer for you. That's all I can really think to answer with it. But, you know, for me, it's about the inclusion, about people who feel like outcasts. But you'd be surprised who are furries and who aren't furries. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't have any furry friends. I guarantee you, if you have at least 50 friends, I can guarantee at least 5 to 10 of them are probably furries, or even just enough to be like, yeah, I know furries and they're cool. They're not hard to find at all. Furries are like, there's always at least one furry among 10 people, I guarantee it. This is a very funny question I've gotten from people. People have said, what's the difference between an anthropomorphic creature, or an anthro, and a talking dog or a talking cat or something like that? That is a very strange question to answer, in my opinion, because there's so many people who will look at that and be like, well, obviously Lola Bunny is fuckable. She was designed to be fuckable. But then you have talking dogs like Jenna from Balto, who people have told me more than once that they want to fuck Jenna, and I'm like, that's a dog, buddy. And they're like, then what about Lola? And I'm like, good point. But I think the difference, I think what people are trying to get across is, if animals could consent, would that make it right or wrong? And that's where it comes in. You have to question whether or not your morality is okay with that bullshit. Understandable. I get it. You're conflicted because, you know, biology and history has said don't fuck animals, which is fine. I get it. But we're also animals, technically. But here's the question. If anthropomorphic creatures were real, say like somebody like me, but with my personality, but had, you know, who had ears, who had ears and had a tail and had all that kind of stuff. And they walked and talked like Daffy Duck, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and like Tina Duck, which is actually Donald's girlfriend, I do believe, in the new Looney Tunes show. I mean, any anthropomorphic, would it make it right to have sex with that anthropomorphic creature? It varies, honestly, because it's like, well, maybe they're walking and talking, they understand, but what if now, the question is, what about a talking dog? Let's say there was a dog that could talk and think just like a human being, but they were in a physical animal body. A bear, for instance. Let's say there was a bear that had its life together. Like, what was it? There was... I do believe there was a bear family on the Cleveland show for a short time where it was the same thing. And I think he had like a funny accent. And he was married and had kids and everything. And he was like one of Cleveland's next door neighbors. And I'm like, well, this is the Family Guy universe, so that sort of does make sense. Whatever. So that did make sense that they did that shenanigans. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. But regardless... So the question is, if they're a physical bear, but they have the intelligence of a human being and they have the emotions and responses as humans, the question would be then, is it okay? That's very hard to say because we've never come across that situation. I don't know if we ever will come across intelligent bears. So I would say the difference, essentially, I know why people ask that question. People ask that question not because they're curious about, if that's their fursona. They're asking that question for sexual reasons, obviously. There's no other reason for you to ask that question. Because essentially, if you're asking the difference between them, well, no, I would say the only other reason is, do you like talking anthropomorphic animals, or do you like talking animals, like Garfield kind of situation? I totally get that, too. The next 3 questions, I'm going to go ahead and say, if you want to skip these, I recommend it if you are sensitive to extremely sexual topics, things that are in the realm of illegal, and things that may make you very cringe. And I will admit that the next 3 topics are very, how should I put it, they're not meant for children at all, and they're not meant for teenagers. But if you want to learn, I'm going to try my best to teach you as much as I can about these topics, and these are very serious topics. I am not joking when I talk about any of this. So let's continue. So, this is a question I hate answering, but I'm going to be honest, okay? What is the pedo problem I keep hearing about with the furry community? The problem that we've been having lately is that there have been some pedophilic, child molesting problems. Real furries were 100% against it. We report any activity of grooming. We report any activity of children, being molested, anything like that. We do not condone it whatsoever. Real furries will tell you right off the bat that we're not about that. We don't condone lolicon, shotacon, cub, anything of that nature, anything that has to do with children. Sexually, we push it all the way to the back and we say, do not touch this. It's under lock and key for a reason. Lose the goddamn key, sink it in the fucking ocean, or fucking set that shit on fire, because we don't want anything to do with it. Has there been incidences? Yes. I'm not going to deny that. This is on Quora, and I'll read off somebody's answer on here, and hopefully this will come in handy. Someone asks, why does everyone think that in the furry community everyone is bad and they just are pedophiles that are 50? Someone answers, to be honest, it has a lot to do with the media. I'm not going to lie, there are furs out there that match that stereotype to various degrees. I even bought into it until recently. The friendliness of the fandom members have taken let's see what this I think they meant to say let's see what this is into I love it here. Again, somebody says primarily bad media. There is really good reason that furries are leery of media types. Up until very recently, they've tried to smear the community as a bunch of creepy weirdos and sex deviants at every opportunity. As an example, a number of years ago, the radio station 99X, an alternative station in Georgia, sent their butt monkey intern to a Furry Weekend Atlanta in a disgusting ratty mascot costume to try and get some amusing shit the other host could make fun of. Needless to say, he was rejected with vigor and the quickness. That's an interesting way to put it. Since then, the organizers have advised all attendees to be very careful around any news types, and if seen, don't talk to them, and inform staff, or if need be, security. Obviously, this extends to television as well. From the frankly bizarre Furries in the Desert episode of 1,000 Ways to Die, to be the infamous Fur and Loathing CSI episode, television has been very unkind to the community. Thankfully, in recent years, this has started to change, but the community is still weary of media in general unless they're well-known supporters. Why do people hate furries? Question: why do people hate furries? They find it weird. Which, let's be honest, that's fair. Being a furry is an unusual hobby when it's compared to mainstream interests, while fursuiting is ironically the most associated behavior with furries, while being by far the less common. It is still an unusual hobby. Outside of fursuiting, there's a pretty strong pressure online to have normal interest, thanks to the cringe culture, which leads me to the next point. They hate furries ironically. Furries are the internet punching bag. It's really popular to hate us. While it's not something that can be proven, I believe the majority of online hate comes from people who do it because haha dog people is an easy way to get internet cred. This is problematic though, because hating something as a joke can easily lead to the next reason. They hate furries ironically. Well, I'm not going to go into this because this guy has point after point, and he's not wrong. Every single fandom is going to have somebody in the community that's going to try to ruin it for the rest of us. The community is trying its hardest to, clean up everything it can, trying to clean up this dumpster fire, and there's really nothing we can do. And again, there's nothing you can do about it except try to clean it up, and just be the best role model of the community that you can be. That is my best thing I can say about any pedophiles that we may have lurking in the shadows in our community. Again, just do yourself a favor. If you meet them, tell them to fuck off. If you find out that they're doing something illegal, report them. And, try to get them arrested, try to get them help, try to do the best that you can. This is a very serious one as well. Do furries have sex with animals? There has been a couple cases that there are some furries that have been reported to having sex with animals. Those are zoophiles. Now, commonly, a lot of people who claim that they're zoophiles don't want to be called furries and vice versa, because obviously, for obvious reasons, people who have sex with animals only want to have sex with animals and don't like furry stuff and vice versa. Now, this is not the case of if it's a square, a rectangle is considered a square, but a square is not a rectangle kind of idea. That's not how this works. I might have got that backwards. There has been serious accusations that furries, all they do is have sex with dogs, or have sex with horses, or have sex with any animal that they can stick their dick into, and they're not furries. Most of the time, if they are furries, it was probably an experimental phase, and they regret it. And if you're a furry and you have sex with animals, do not tell anybody, for the love of fucking God. Don't tell me, don't tell anybody, we don't want to know. It's none of my business, and I don't want to know. But if you get caught, that's your fault. Because I know for a fact, after looking at laws, because I've looked at funny and fucked up laws, there are like 3 or 4 states in America that say bestiality is legal. I'm like, why? Next thing you're gonna say it's okay to marry a 12-year-old. Why is that okay? Well, an animal is considered somebody's property, and somebody can do whatever they want with their property. No. No, no, no. But again, it goes back to the pedophilia part. Just replace everything I said about pedophilia with zoophiles or people who have sex with animals, and do the same thing. Kick them out. Tell them to go get a life. Punch them in the dick. Smack her in the face. Anything that can get them across. Tell them to go seek help and to just get their life straight, because we do not condone that at all. This one's a little lighter and a little bit easier to talk about, and actually funnier. Do furries have orgies? Oh my god. So, The funny thing is before I actually really answer this, I have a funny story behind it. Yes, there have been orgy parties. There have been places. I remember one of my friends was telling me about this place at a convention. He's in Texas, so he went to the big convention, and somebody apparently tweeted out about how they wanted to be like, they wanted to have this mass orgy in their bedroom. Like, anybody's invited, just knock on the door and, you know, say your age and come in kind of thing. Make sure you're above 18. And he said that basically he was letting anybody come in, basically wreck his ass. And I'm like, that's how you get AIDS. That is real quick how you get an STD. Very bad STDs. Because you know he probably became a cum dumpster that night. Oh boy, at least one out of 5 people there probably gave him something. Imagine going home, why does my ass itch? And then later on, you have an STD. Woo! How many do I have? All of them. Fuck. That's a lot. Well, we call it the Three Stooges syndrome.
We call it Three Stooges syndrome.
So many at once that none of them are getting through at once. That is a Simpsons quote. But yeah, that does go on to what's called a fursuit as well, where the suit is specifically designed to be fucked in. And it's as simple as that. It's pretty funny, and they do have orgies, but it's not like they're hurting anybody. It's just sex. As long as it's two consenting adults, I don't give a shit. It's none of my business. So that's pretty much goes on to the next question. What is a fursuit and how does it work? Now, obviously you see me wearing what I'm wearing. I've got hoodies with ears, and I love the hell out of these. I'll either wear this one or my pink one or my purple one. I've got multiple colors, and one day when I see the guys at Paul Star again, I love those guys. I'm gonna get another hoodie, and I'm thinking about getting maybe an orange one next time, because the orange one was really nice and vibrant. I really wanted a green one. I noticed furries are very naturally. So, what is a fursuit? A fursuit obviously is this. Pretty straightforward. It's basically the equivalent of a very expensive mascot suit that you do not get dirty unless you wish to die. Most of them will tell you do not get them dirty. And they are very expensive to make. They're anywhere between $2,000 and even $10,000. I've heard of very expensive fursuits. Top 10 most expensive fursuits in the world with pictures. God damn, I would love to see that. Okay, I will now discuss some of the most expensive fursuits. Let me see. Don't need to know about that. Okay, keep going. Okay, so what is this? $6,000. Price $6,000. Albino Topaz created the fursuit on April 16th, 2019. The manufacturer had the plans to create a designer fursuit. That's what I want to get into. But it was one of the most controversial fursuits. There is a special mark on the surface of the fursuit. Otherwise, yeah, I can see how that can be a little controversial. It almost looks like a it looks very close to a swastika. Other fursuits have tails that are missing in the attire. Ever since it was made, fandom has been claimed it to be a faceless product. The design industry faces so many conspiracies, even something blah 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 blah. We'll continue. The next one is Borzo Lion Ram. Interesting. This was a 6,000. These are customizable design. They are the customized designer fursuit. These three are made out together by I cannot pronounce that. Famous logo, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the next one would be the Arrow the Horse, is $7,100. The fursuit is by Sky Pro Costumes. I wonder if it's the Sky High Productions. Deanna, I don't know how to pronounce that last word, is the owner of this company. Let me see if this is who I think it is. Oh, never mind. No, it's not the same person. The company is also renowned for making telephones. Anyways, the suit Arrow the Horse is sold for $7,100 this year, 2020, which was 2 years ago. It is completely handcrafted and worth the price. $80.25. Holy crap. This is Lavender Corgi. The fursuit is super impressive. It holds the record for the most expensive fursuit for 4 years. It was made resembling Justin Bieber. The back had a big JB on it that is hilarious. It was made by Albino Topaz and sold for $8,025 in 2014. They could buy a boy band at that price. However, they couldn't make the exact singer look. Mishka, the Silver Fox. This is, wow, holy shit. We're only at number 6 and the price is $10,100. Hold on, I'm gonna send this to my furry group. This suit has a special character. The expression of the suit is so adorable. It's made by Howl Yeah. It is a well-crafted fursuit. It was built for a person around 5'11", but can easily fit both bigger and smaller. In 2016, the price of the fursuit was considered quite high. Jesus fucking Christ! This one is number 5, Sniper the Angel Dragon, or a Dutch Angel probably. The price of this is $11,575. Sniper the Angel Dragon is made by Phoenix Wolf Fursuits, creator of the famous suit for telephone. In 2016, it was the most expensive publicly sold fursuit. Phoenix commented that the auction was more like a battle that had been going on for hours. He finally congratulated Twilight Saint on winning the auction. At the time, a tagline became quite popular on Twitter, which was "The Great Phoenix Wolf Auction of 2015. Sniper the Wolf Dragon created a new record for that." Number 4. Holy goddamn shit. It just keeps fucking climbing, dude. This is at $154,000. Am I saying that right? 15,400. My bad. $15,400. Who the fuck has this kind of money? It just keeps climbing, dude. It was a custom fursuit by J Ting F. Its structure is modeled on engineering it as it is very attractive to look at. Although many people recommended this, it turned out unsold. It actually deserves a lot more money, but sadly it did not sell. Still is an impressive suit. They mentioned the price was the suit's estimated value. Jesus Christ. There better be a reason for this suit to be so expensive. The Manual Dog at $17,127. Manual Dog by Mixed Candy is a very handsome suit. Mixed Candy gets a maximum auction through this fursuit. It is a mixture of simultaneously fierce, cunning, and handsome. Seeing this, everyone may get frightened. They may even want to cuddle the person behind it. The fursuit was sold in 2018. Recorded for the most expensive fursuit in 2016. Was held by Sniper and was taken over by Manual Dog in 2018. The material and the costume product are really unique and attractive. Like other Mixed Candy fursuits, it has maintained the same quality as ever. The dealer's den paid special attention to the successful auction of Mixed Candy. Good God. Primal Vision's Cheetah, $17,500. The fur, what is this? The fur of this fursuit alone costs $10,000. So it is understandable how expensive it is. It is made by Lex Rudd. The price of this fur is high because it's woven in a loom. Holy shit, no wonder. It is NFL stretch, not sewn or painted. It has flexible holders like dancing. When wearing it, it fits body tight. It resembles a cheetah, hence its name. That's why it's so fucking expensive, because it's woven in a loom and because of how it's... Oh my God. Number 1 is Roar Dragon at $23,500. This is a gorgeous, handsome suit made in New Zealand. It is equipped with leather and latex. Moreover, it has a 3D printed head. It has some amazing skills. For instance, it has an individual moving skill that is insane. This fursuit is technically quite advanced, so the reason behind its high price is quite clear. Frequently asked questions. How much is a good fursuit? Fursuit is made of a combination of art, time, and money. It takes 1 to 6 weeks for a professional person to make a fursuit. This question naturally comes to mind: how much money is needed to make a good quality fursuit. A quality fursuit is available for a minimum of $3,000. The prices are calculated individually for customizing fursuits. You gotta think about how much a suit, like an actual tuxedo, would cost you in general, and a good custom tuxedo can cost you anywhere between like $1,500 to like $6,000. Renting these custom suits will set you back around $500 or upwards of $1,500 if you decide to purchase a suit outright. If you're renting a tux, okay, that's not what I really want. How much does it cost to buy a tuxedo? How much does a wedding tuxedo, custom tuxedo? Well, a good tuxedo is going to cost you anywhere between $500 to $600, even maybe as high as $700. But if you want an actual like Italian or higher tuxedo, you're looking at anywhere between like is up probably as much as $10,000. So, okay, to also mix in one other thing, there is such a thing called a mersuit, which you have sex in. I think I mentioned that earlier. That's pretty much the only real reason anybody gets a mersuit, just to have sex in it, because it has zippers and stuff and hidden places you can fuck in them. That's pretty much the only thing about a mersuit that's attractive. Next question is, what about a fursona? What is it and how do I make one? I think I'm going to do an entire video of me basically taking the general elements of a D&D sheet, reworking it into making it your what is my fursona kind of thing. Well, a fursona is whatever you want it to be. What's your favorite animal? What's your favorite species? I suggest going on to Google and typing in, let me see, I'm going to type something in real quick. I would say go on, if I remember, I'll put this link down below, and I'll try to keep this up for now, but go type in all known furry species, and there should be, like it says, fursona-Wikipedia, and so you can see there might be a good portion you could find out. Well, there are some graphs. They're pretty useful. I would say see this graph that is right here, and it says hybrid wolf, hybrid wolf, fox, dog, big cat, dragon, mythical cat, other really. Rodent, rabbit, raccoon, reptile, otter, avian, bear, horse, aquarian, hyena, skunk, okay, this is because it's sideways, marsupial, dinosaur, deer, feline, squirrel, ferret, canine. A canine and a dog are basically the same thing. Why are those two separate categories? And insect. So species popularity in hybrid form. I am not reading all that. But essentially, if you really want to get to know whatever your favorite, it can be, you can be a mythical creature, you can be a hybrid, you can be whatever you want. I just highly recommend don't go to mixed breed hybrid things, because then you get to the point to where people are just going to go, shut up, because it does get annoying over time. The thing about a fursona is you can make it whatever you want, do whatever you want, and nobody's going to stop you whatsoever. But what I would suggest is put some thought into it, if anything. Think about why you're creating this fursona in the first place. Think about what your favorite animal is. Now, if you want to go an extra route, you can always ask your friends, what do you think, what kind of animal I am? And if everybody agrees that you're essentially, you act like a hyena, you're always laughing, or, you're very cat-like, you're pretty much an asshole, and for no reason you like to knock shit off the table for no damn reason, or, there are multiple reasons as to why, you believe you're a dog, or you're a cat, or you're a dragon, or something. Like, if you're a dragon, you hoard everything. You're a dog because you're always friendly. That's why I chose, when I was thinking about the species that I wanted to be, I chose a golden retriever. And I was like, I'm like a golden retriever. You don't hear us bark too much, but we don't get pissy, and we're always going to try to protect you and always try to be there for you. And if we do get pissy, there's something wrong, kind of thing. You don't often see a lot of golden retrievers bare their teeth. That's me. In some instances, in some aspect, I don't bare my teeth to many people, meaning I don't snap at you, I don't get mad at you just for no reason. You have to give me a reason to do it. Like, it has to be a very good reason to get mad at you. So how do you go about making a fursona? If you want to be like a fox rabbit, or a fox raccoon, or a cat dragon, or whatever you want to be, you know what? Go for it. Have fun with it. Make something really interesting. And you know what? I say go against the grain. Go against go in the furry community, whatever the norm is. I always suggest people be creative. Make something that people aren't going to expect. Like you see in this graph right here, the dragon wolf is the most popular amongst the breeds. If you want to be like, say, a raccoon wolf, or an otter wolf, or a fox lion, if you want to be one of these, I say go for it. I always say we need more percentages in the other ones because we never have enough. Oh, did I do? Wait. Oh, okay. I see how this works. That was its own link. That's funny. We don't have enough, and we really could use people to have fun in the other sections. Go for it. The last question before I answer about myself, what about you, is if I wanted to be a furry, how do I go about it? If you're a furry, then you're a furry. If you want to be one, be one. There's no regulations, there's no reason or rhyme, there's no test, there's no quiz. You can be in the fandom, you don't have to be in the fandom. It's all up to you if you want to be with us, if you want to have some fun, if you want to enjoy what we enjoy. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to have a fursona at the start. You don't have to have a fursuit. You don't have to have paws or gloves or feet or anything like that. You don't need any of that. All you need is a good attitude and just be open, be honest, be fun, be enjoyable. Most communities have a good set of guidelines. Most communities will tell you just be a good sport, even if you're not full-blown a furry yet and you're still exploring your options and understanding what it is. And you haven't made a fursona. It's okay. I get it. You don't know what direction you want to take yet. I just created, just previously, a new fursona. It's a protogen. If I might do I think I might do an entire video on a protogen because that sounds really fun. And I was reading it and I'm like, oh my god, there's so much on protogens. I gotta really look into this. Oh yeah, that looks way better ever since I did that. Gray and purple looks fine together. So basically, here's the website. It's, you know, furry-fandom.com. Okay, furryfandom.com. Furry, you get the idea. The link. This right here is pretty good. This has a great thing. It's created by the same creator that made the Primogen, which is pretty cool. I learned a lot by reading this today, and I loved it so much. Just check out the species, go with it. I mean, if you want to be something, enjoy it. It doesn't really matter. So, at the end of the day, it's really like, do you enjoy it or not? That's pretty much it. So, what about me? How should I put it? Why am I a furry? I'm a furry because I enjoy the furry community as a whole. I know that we do have bad people. I know that there's some weird shit that happens. Every community, every fandom is gonna have someone that wants to fuck it up in the long run, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Just stay away from them. There's gonna be people who want to hug you and love you and say, oh my god, can I pet your tail? When I'm out and about, I don't know if I showed this earlier, I don't remember because it's been, on my end, 57 minutes, almost an hour. When I wear these tails, I've worn so many tails out in public. I wear very long tails, and this is another golden retriever style tail. Girls will come up to me and be like, oh my god, can I pet your tail? And I'm like, go for it. Little kids will come up to me, and that's why I do heavy duty stitching right here. Kids will come up, they'll grab it. It doesn't bother me. I'm like, whatever. They're a kid, they're stupid, you can't really help it. And you'll get these people who, I've had probably a couple people cringe at me, and that's okay. People aren't going to understand it, and if you are afraid of what society thinks, you're one of those people. One, I'm going to tell you to grow up. Stop caring. If you're an adult, live your life. If you're not hurting anybody, then who cares? Let me tell you a small story real quick. A long time ago, I remember my mom had told me, you know, the first time I started wearing tails and stuff, and she didn't understand it. She thought it was weird. She's finally accepted it. She says to me that one of the regulars in her store came in that day, sat down at a booth, and I walked in a little bit later. I don't know if it was one of my new custom tails that I started creating or one of the ones I got from Polestar, but he saw that I was wearing a tail. He started making fun of me, not right there on the spot, but apparently after I left, he started saying some shit about me. He's this big-ass fat dude that looks like he's gonna die by the time he hits 60 years old anyways on a fucking heart attack. This guy's a complete asshole to everybody. Nobody likes him in the store, like nobody. I've tried helping him out several times. This dude's dumb as dirt, but he's also like the dumb as dirt asshole kind of guy. I think we all know that kind of person. And he starts making fun of me, and my mom's standing right there, and she goes, this was like 2 or 3 years ago, and she goes, okay, so your point? My son made that. My son can do that. He sells them online. Yeah, I remember I was wearing one of my custom tails, one of the newest ones I just made. He goes, is he hurting anybody? No. He's not hurting a single person. So what if he likes it? Is it hurting you? And he shut up after that. He'll make fun of me from time to time, but you know what? Again, like my mom even pointed out, my mom doesn't understand furries. She doesn't really like it all too much, but she's accepted it. She's one of those people, and she doesn't really care. She doesn't like to be seen in public with me when I wear a tail. I don't blame her. I totally get it. But at the same time, I respect it enough to where at this point, I just don't go out with my mom. My sister, it's a toss-up sometimes. If we're not going far, she doesn't really care. Like tomorrow, she's taking me to an interview. Well, today she's taking me to an interview. Obviously, I'm not wearing those pair of pants. I'm not wearing this. I'm going to look professional. And that's pretty much it. You know, for me, it's just about having fun and being something I'm not. You know, again, like I think I told the story about Dragon Con earlier about how, you know, what it is to be a furry to them. And a lot of people say the same thing. And a lot of it is because I just enjoy, you know, the aspect of being something I'm not. And I know that I'm still a human being at the end of the day. I know that I'm not actually a dog. I know that, you know, I'm never going to be able to get spliced. If splicing happens in my lifetime, I will immediately sign up for it as long as there's no like long-term effects like death. I'll be like, yeah, sure, let's test it out. Put that DNA in me and let's see if I grow a tail and get dog ears. I would love to do that. Like, pick your favorite animal. Golden Retriever. Let's roll with it. See what happens. And if it works, I'll be happy. Well, I'll finally be able to be my real self on the inside. But until then, I know I'm a human being. I know that at the end of the day, it's just make-believe and it's just for fun. Yes, there are people who have ruined it. There are, you know, assholes in classrooms, in schools, I mean, who have put litter boxes in, you know, the bathrooms to make fun of us furries because they think that furries would use a litter box. No, if any part of the furry community would use a litter box, it'd probably be foxes. I think use litter boxes if they're domesticated, I think, and cats. So the cat furs would probably do it. The felines would do it the fastest, probably. You get the general idea. It's dumb, it's stupid, whatever. That's all I can think to talk about. It has been 1 hour on my end, 1 hour and 1 minute or so forth. And I think I talked about all that I think is necessary, but, you know, I didn't want to bleed this for too long. I knew that there are some things that need to be talked about. I knew that there are some things that need to be brought up. And if we're lucky, one day it'll be a thing of the past and we won't worry about it anymore and we won't give a shit. That's what I'm hoping for. So at the very end of this, I do want to plug a couple things. First of all, if you're new to my channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're a returning subscriber and you've been here for a while and you previously saw that I had uploaded like 15 videos today, I'm so terribly sorry about that. I accidentally deleted a bunch. I clicked the check mark box and I didn't even pay attention and I hit delete when I was actually trying to delete one video to fix it, and then I deleted so many and then I had to re-upload so many, and I'm pissed off about that to no extent. And I lost like 4 subscribers, but hey, whatever, it happens, you know? But my bad on that. I did not mean to do that. Complete accident, and go from there. So I want to plug a couple things. First of all, my link tree is down below. It has everything that is my everything. It has my Etsy, my Twitter, also a YouTube link, obviously, to my actual YouTube. It also has my Furville, if you want to come there. Furville is a place where if you're a furry creator of anything, art or tails or anything that if you create it with a sewing machine and you can wear it and it's furry related, you're welcome here. Or if you're just a furry and you just want a place to come talk, we welcome that too. And my Etsy, of course, I did mention that before. I think there's like 1 or 2, what else was on there? Oh, Coffee and Buy Me a Coffee. How did I forget that all of a sudden? Obviously, Coffee and Buy Me a Coffee are on there too. And if you want to come check those out, by all means, if you want to drop me some cash, I always appreciate it. They go towards, you know, helping me survive in this crappy ass world. But if anything, I do really appreciate if you give my Etsy a look. If you want to buy one of my collars, I will probably, I'm trying to figure out what to do about shipping right now, because I know there are some people in Australia that want it, but the sad thing is Australia is super expensive to ship to. It's like $25. I think Canada and the UK in general are fine. I think Mexico is fine. I'm just going to go in and check to see how much it's going to cost between each countries that I'm capable of shipping to, and as long as it's not expensive to ship to you, it's like $10 to ship, I'll do it, and it'll be perfectly fine. So please, by all means, I hope that you check out my links and you check everything out. I hope that this video was informative and you enjoyed it, you learned something, and if you're a closet furry and you're not sure where to go with it, you can come to my Discord. You are safe there. We will come and help you out, learn who you are, and we want you there. We really do. We want you to be supportive. I'm tired right now. I'm starting to like ramble on. So thanks for watching, and come back for more of my videos. I hope to see you another time. Later.